Welcome back to Dirty 20, everybody. Today we begin on a series of the characters of the Forgotten Realms by discussing my personal favourite drow, Jarlaxle Bainray. Let's get on with the show. Jarlaxle is a drow who originally appeared in the novel by R.A. Salvatore, Exile. He went on to appear in a number of novels, comic books, and even made a cameo in the computer game Baldur's Gate 2. So, why do I like him so much? Well, he is incredibly charismatic and flamboyant, which makes for amazingly fun role-playing. And then add to that the fact he's a very powerful character and his level of puppet mastery in that, as we're going to see, he likes to control things kind of from the shadows. So he is the son, he's the third son of the matriarch of the highest house of the drow, essentially kind of making him a prince in the city of Menzo Baranzan. But even though this would usually make any individual very powerful, this is drow society, and in drow society, males are second-class citizens. And in fact, he was supposed to be sacrificed to Lolth. So that's a little bit of his kind of backstory. However, he managed to overcome all of this and essentially become the leader of the Bragan Dearth, who are a bunch of badass mercenaries. Also has a submarine, which brings us quite nicely to his latest appearance in the Forgotten Realms, which was in Wizards of the Coast pre-written adventure, Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Now, moving forward with this series, we're definitely going to be using this adventure and others brought out by Wizards of the Coast. A lot of it is going to be to, give us things like images and also stat blocks and just information about kind of where they're at currently in the timeline, which I think is always very much a suggestion. You can always go back in these characters' lifespans if that's where you're playing in the Forgotten Realms, or even into the future. But that is essentially the purpose of this series of videos. I want to introduce you to some of my favorite characters from the Forgotten Realms, and also encourage you to feel like you can use them in your campaigns, Why not, I always say. In Dragon Heist, Jarlaxle is actually one of the potential villains. It's a pretty cool adventure, and I recommend you check it out. I hope to run it one day, but this was kind of the first time that I was introduced to Jarlaxle, mostly through Chris Perkins DMing for Acquisitions Incorporated, which we've discussed on the channel before. Chris Perkins is one of the lead writers, and he was one of the main writers for this particular book. And, his fingerprints are kind of all over it. But he did a live play for Acquisitions Inc., and they, had Jarlaxle, and in fact, Chris Perkins was dressed in cosplay like Jarlaxle, which I thought was fantastic. But he really kind of inspired me to want to, give it a go, using this character. But let's take a look at page 206, which is going to be your first stop in order to get an idea of who Jarlaxle is and also his stat block. So let's take a look just at the very top, where it gives you a little introduction to who he is. It says, Jarlaxle is a flamboyant, swashbuckling drow iconoclast. He leads a renegade drow faction called Bragan Dearth, made up of disenfranchised mailed drow, most of them culled from destroyed or disgraced houses. Gifted with a sharp mind, a sense of humour, puissant skill with a blade, and a wealth of useful magical items, Jarlaxle infiltrated the city of Luskan, brought a kind of order to its lawlessness, and declared himself its secret lord. So immediately you get this sense that he's kind of this Machiavellian, power-hungry guy. Now, if we take a look at his stat block, and I do strongly recommend that you check out our video on reading stat blocks, just to give you an idea of the geography of a stat block. But here we can see that challenge 15 is, tough. That means that he's not to be messed with, right? Your character should probably not engage him in a fight. But then you look at his HP of 123 and, you have to know that he isn't unkillable. Still, AC 24, legendary resistance, and a whole host of abilities and features, including things like, Suave defense, which I absolutely love. But, things like legendary actions and things like that really kind of signal that if for whatever reason a fight does erupt, he will survive and he will escape. And I think this is an important point. We don't necessarily use these characters, these NPCs, in the same way that we might use other NPCs. They bring a flavor of a larger shared universe, and so using them lightly has always been really important to me. So I've used Jarlaxle a few times, and one of the times I used him because of his connection to Lantan. And let's go back to Dragon Heist, page 206, and read a little bit about that. Jarlaxle has forged an alliance with Lantan, an island to the south, and has armed his Bragan Dearth lieutenants with Lantanese firearms that rely on magical smoke powder to function. He has also acquired a Lantanese submarine called the Scarlet Marpenoth. This underwater vessel is mounted below the Eyecatcher and kept out of sight. Jarlaxle plans on using the submarine to flee Waterdeep if his scheme unravels. So a couple of things there. First of all, massive kudos, probably Chris Perkins, I would imagine, for calling the submarine the Scarlet Marpenoth. Marpenoth is the equivalent to October in the Forgotten Realms, and so essentially this submarine is called the Red October, which is such a great nerdy film reference. But also, you're given a sense of like geography, right? Like I was always very interested in Lantan and its history and the fact that it's this kind of Atlantis of the Forgotten Realms, technologically and things like that. So I wrote a one-shot set in Lantan. You guys can check it out in our one-shots video, and also you can grab yourself the PDF if you want. But it made it a cool way to kind of introduce my characters who were, playing on the Sword Coast and get them to Lantan. And it was this uneasy kind of alliance. And I like that about Jarlaxle. He doesn't necessarily always have to be an antagonist. But a lot of fun to kind of role play while they're traveling and all that kind of thing. Another time I used him was actually probably one of the greatest double-cross oh my god moments that I've ever DM'd myself. It was fantastic, and a lot of it kind of came down to Jarlaxle and his, charisma, and obviously they never trusted him, but I managed to tap into the puppet master element of Jarlaxle on this occasion. I was able to get him to, obviously the players didn't trust him, but he managed to get someone else, and it made total sense. And to this day, I swear I traumatized my players because they didn't trust anyone for months after that. So, there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think about this new series, and are there any particular characters that you would like us to see us discuss? Please like and subscribe, and as always, keep slaying. If you've enjoyed this content, then please smash that like button, subscribe, share this around online, and come and visit our website, www.lavictoriaproductions.com, to see all our past episodes, as well as our blog posts and all the stuff that we're currently working on at La Victoria Productions. Why not reach out to us and tell us what you think of our videos? You can reach us on Twitter. At Mouth La Victoria is our producer. We are also on Instagram. I am Enano LVP, and our producer is Jazzy J Cherot. We're also La Victoria Productions on Facebook and LinkedIn. Come on by and let us know what you think.